What's happening now is the retail investor renaissance. It's upon us. Retail investors, everyday people, customers, fans, followers of businesses, they want and deserve access. That's what's happening right now.
We are bringing this show to life because retail investors deserve the opportunity to know that they can invest in startups. The people can participate and start providing an alternative for founders to raise capital.
I made history by becoming the second African-American woman to trade at the New York Stock Exchange, and certainly the youngest. That's me at 22. I've met countless founders with aspirations of ringing the bell, but before they can even get close, they need to raise capital in order to grow.
This whole thing started back in the Obama era with the Jobs Act.
One of the great things about America is that we are a nation of doers. We think big, we take risks. For the first time, ordinary Americans will be able to go online and invest in entrepreneurs that they believe in. For startups and small businesses, this bill is a potential game changer.
Welcome to Going Public. On this season of Going Public, we've uncovered 4 American companies
You guys have something your competitors don't.
that are putting it all on the line.
You're leaving a lot of money on the table.
No turning back now.
They need to raise serious capital
It's go time for everybody.
to take their companies to the next level.
That's a thing to watch for.
We went from 0 to 1 million users. This has been a huge hit.
You'll see firsthand what it takes to get their companies ready.
You ready to do this? There's a lot of work to do, a lot of logistics pieces, a lot of processes.
We have 4 months to execute and set up our 2022 for success.
With the help of mentors who've been there,
Working with you on messaging is something I'm really excited about. Taking complicated concepts and turning them into a t-shirt.
The right celebrity partner will change the face of your brand overnight.
What is PROVEN's PR strategy? It sounds like we need one.
then it's time to pitch
I'm a little nervous. Are you?
and make their case to investors like you.
We are coming directly to retail investors with our Regulation A+ offering.
Our mission is to change 1 million students' lives by 2030.
What can we do with 10 to 25 million when in our past 10 years we've only had 2?
Will Proven's custom skincare tech revolutionize the $155 billion beauty market?
I think Reg A is the right path for us.
Will Treble beat the streaming competition and save music for the masses?
They can now use our product and invest in the company.
Will NGT Academy's training change 1 million lives by upgrading America's cybersecurity warriors?
Founders should always be solving problems that can make this world better.
Will Hammitt's commitment to quality craftsmanship beat fast fashion?
Reg A customers are going to be the core.
It's their journey, but ultimately your decision.
Click to invest.
Going public, take 1.
So we are here, we are talking about Regulation A, crowdfunding.
This is an innovation in storytelling. It's a new way for investors and viewers to get an in-depth look.
We wanted to educate, we wanted to empower, and we wanted to make investing feel more approachable.
What is it going to look like for these companies?
Each of these companies are all raising capital under Reg A+. These are privately held companies that aspire to be publicly traded. There's no free money. There's no easy path to raise cash here.
It's the journey, allowing viewers all around the world to follow along, and if inspired, click to invest.
Okay, so before we get to these companies, let's get some very important legal issues out in the open. Going public is for entertainment purposes, and at no time do the company, sponsors, nor any participants provide investment advice, endorsement analysis, or recommendations with respect to securities. On Going Public, you're going to hear from 4 companies that are giving you an opportunity to invest through an exemption from registration with the SEC called Regulation A. These offerings have not gone through a registration process with the SEC and do not have the investor protection that it provides. And it should be noted that just because the show is called Going Public, there is no guarantee that any company will in fact go public or ever list on an exchange like NASDAQ, for example. Bottom line, you need to know the risk going in. The companies have all filed an offering circular with the SEC that you should read carefully, including the section called Risk Factors, because these are speculative and illiquid offerings and you can lose some or all of your money. Another thing you need to know is that Going Public is operated by Crush Capital, and Crush Capital is being compensated by the companies featured on the show. And some of our mentors have interest in the companies as well. These relationships mean that there could be a conflict of interest between the investors, Crush Capital, the companies featured, and the mentors on the show. We detail all these potential conflicts on the Going Public website at goingpublic.com. Okay guys, I want to break down these companies. Let's talk about Hammitt.
Luxury leather handbags. I think Tony's gonna be a hit because he's such an open book. He doesn't hold anything back.
And then you have a CEO and an operator in Andrew Forbes. Guy built major fashion brands in the past.
He spent more than a decade at Vidal Sassoon in the 80s. That was a $100 million business. It was bought by Procter & Gamble, just a small company. He is a tenured, seasoned operator. What did he do after that? He was at Jimmy Choo.
Yep.
I think these guys have something very special.
Andrew, interview take 1. I'm Andrew. I'm the CEO of Hammitt, and we think Hammitt will be the next great American luxury handbag brand.
I'm Tony Drockton, chief cheerleader of Hammock.
Chief cheerleader.
A lot more fun than founder or chairman, and I think our company's about people having a good time.
Yes! Big shoulder now. Okay. That's actually pretty good.
Handbags are the gateway to luxury. All of the best houses focus on their leather goods to become who they are, the Hermes, the Louis Vuittons. That's who I look to for my inspiration, and that's where we're going. Even the highest end luxury brands have gotten rid of suede. We can offer it fully suede lined, and people love it.
Luxury brands, you have to be authentic, you have to have integrity, you have to have genuine quality. We don't think about how we can make this cheaper, we think how we can make this better.
This will kill you.
If it doesn't close, if it doesn't stay shut, she goes nuts with them.
When I look at the fashion industry in America alone, it's like a $22 billion industry, globally much bigger, and that's just handbags. If you think about the luxury industry, it's exploded because it's the bastion of hope for a lot of people because it makes them feel good about themselves. What do you think of between the two? Pick the winner before they go. You're picking this one?
Yeah. You want to bet?
I'm going here.
Okay.
Shake?
Okay. Shake.
All right.
Done.
This is going to sell out.
Most prefer a leather handbag at the higher price point, the luxury, because it lasts longer, it wears better, it looks better.
This is actually the first Hammock ever made for a barbecue by Stephanie Hammitt. She bought the leather, she bought little pop rivets so that literally it could come apart. She put it together and she had herself the first clutch. If you take a look at this, you can see the DNA of a Hammock. Those signature rivet detail, that's our logo. That's how people know us far, far away. I like to say it's our Burberry check. This looks to me like a European fashion house.
Everybody loves the feel,
wow,
the hand feel.
It is soft.
See what it is, when they do a lot of crops and they emboss them, they overspray them too much. These are very light touch because it's higher quality leather. You don't have to mess with it.
13 years ago, Hammock was born, and I was told this is the way you have to do it. This is how everybody does it. That didn't really work for me. I don't come from the industry. I came from other areas as a classic entrepreneur, and I figured the industry could use a little bit of fun. Here we are 13 years later, and we're the fastest growing handbag brand in America. This section right here, even though we're growing, this is maintaining more than half our revenue. Classic. We're carried in over 850 specialty stores, department stores, and we're growing over 50% a year over year as an entire company.
If we continue to grow at the way we're growing now, I believe less than 5 years, we'll be a $100 million a year company.
It's exciting. We're in an exciting place.
Wow. These feel amazing, but let's take a deeper look into Hammitt. Tony says the luxury handbag market is $22 billion, but Hammitt is on track this year to do about $30 million in sales. Some rough math puts Hammitt gross revenue at 0.13% of the total handbag market. Hammitt is, by any metric, very small compared to the overall market. Andrew and Tony mentioned that they're growing 50% year over year and project that they can achieve $100 million in sales within 5 years. Now, this is only achievable if they continue growing at about that same rate, 50% growth every year for 4 years straight. That would triple their current sales revenue. Now, what could potentially affect that growth? Well, as an internationally produced product, they have inherent risk in sourcing materials from around the world and fulfilling orders. Here are some of the risks. Potential changes to international tax laws and government regulations. Rising costs of raw materials or an increase in labor, fuel, and transportation costs. They have a limited number of distribution and manufacturing partners that could cause slowdowns or stoppage of their ability to produce if something were to happen to any of those partners. And of course, there is no guarantee that handbags will continue to be an in-demand product at the same level as they are now. To learn more about Hammitt, you can visit invest.hammitt.com.
This company currently today is just undercapitalized, and that's the beauty of Regulation A and these public offerings.
Reg A, I keep hearing that word. Known as the mini IPO, companies that use Regulation A+ can raise up to $75 million from investors all around the world, all over the age of 18. On April 5, 2012, President Barack Obama signed the Jumpstart Our Business Startups Act, or JOBS Act, which brought about laws that allowed everyday investors to purchase shares in startups before it is listed on an exchange like NASDAQ, for example. Before this time, retail investors had limited opportunities to invest in startups. It was reserved for accredited investors, essentially the wealthy. But with Regulation A+, companies can raise money from the entire public. Friends, family, customers, and anyone in the world can participate in a raise and own shares. Okay, I want to discuss the risk that comes with Reg A+.
The biggest risk is there's no guarantee here. It's a big financial commitment. It's a tremendous amount of time, effort, and capital. Several $100,000, 4 to 6 months of waiting.
They had to do 2 years of audited financials. That's a heavy lift for any company, especially companies that are in that scale-up phase. They had to deal with the offering circular, 250 pages of disclosure. Make no mistake, this is a public offering.
Look, we're going to put these companies through the ringer. We've got world-class entrepreneurs, billionaire investors, and these people are going to put these founders to the test. We want the viewer to get multiple perspectives on the business, the deal, all of it.
This is not venture capital. This is crowdfunding. This is going public.
Okay, I want to talk about Proven. Amy and Ming, they're incredible, and they are beasts when it comes to academia and what they have done in science.
You look at Amy from Stanford and leaning into computational physics, and Ming came here at 12 years old, didn't speak English, and went on to Harvard Business School. I mean, these are really talented, bright individuals.
I'm impressed that these two women took a company from 0 to 20 million. How many founders have actually done that?
And how many women founders have done that?
Precisely.
I'm Ming Zhao. And I'm Amy Yuan, and we're the founders of Proven. Proven creates personalized skincare based on data and technology.
Hey, Amy, what are those? These are banners with our new branding on it. Let's see if they look good.
So we founded Proven because of our own personal needs.
Oh my goodness, I love the color already.
I was working as a private equity investor. One day I woke up and saw myself in the mirror and just completely panicked. And I started buying all kinds of expensive skincare products, and nothing really worked for me. And it wasn't until I went to a specialist who created personalized products for me, and I was like, why isn't this experience available for everyone? So that's when I partnered with the smartest friend I had, Dr. Amy Yuan. She's a computational physicist from Stanford.
So I started a small data engine for myself. I realized that the power behind the data engine can not only recommend products for myself, and also will fit anyone looking for the right skincare for them.
In 2018, we completed the first phase of building the Skin Genome Project, and that encompasses more than 100,000 beauty products, more than 20,000 beauty ingredients, and over 28 million consumer reviews on beauty. Through our Skin Genome Quiz, we understand the consumers in depth, like a dermatologist would in an evaluation. We then match them with the bright, proven products that will best address their needs. We launched Proven in 2019 from our kitchen tables. We grew 2,400% from 2019 to 2020, becoming one of the fastest growing consumer brands ever. We've been featured on the Today Show, CNBC, Vogue, Allure. Forbes called us the Tesla of skincare. LA Weekly called us the future of beauty. And Proven was the first skincare company to be featured on Shark Tank in 5 years.
Now we're opening up this completely new business model, developing new services and extending our company business line. We're started to build out knowledge of many other wellness space, including supplement space and baby care space and hair care space.
Everything that touches our bodies, that goes into our bodies, needs to be personalized. So let's do it, let's go for it.
The future of wellness is personalized, and Proven wants to be the leader of that.
Let's talk about Proven. Again, let's start with market size. Ming identifies that the personal beauty market is a $155 billion industry. But that's a global number, and Proven currently operates only in the US, where the market size is a little closer to $19 billion. The opportunity is there, just not to the full scale, Ming says, until they expand globally, which is no small feat. Now, Proven is estimating that they will hit $20 million in sales in 2021, and they acknowledge that they are operating at a loss, and there is substantial doubt as to their ability to perform as a going concern, which is just an accounting term for a company that has the resources to continue business for at least 12 months. But functioning at a deficit means that they will need to raise money to continue operating and growing. And this is where Reg A comes in. Okay, let's move on to expansion. Proven wants to apply their AI to other wellness categories, but it should be noted, however, that they currently are only selling a customized skincare line. They have not yet entered these other markets. That $20 million top line revenue is primarily skincare sales, and that single product line is subject to risk. On the distribution side, things like shipping delays, labor disputes and fees, changing trade restrictions and local tariffs, these are all factors out of their control. And same on the supply side. Rising costs of materials, competition for continued supplier contracts, and lost revenue to resupplying product that fails quality control. All could have potential negative effect on continued business. To learn more about Proven and the investment opportunity, you can visit invest.provenskincare.com.
Is it tech? Is it beauty? What are we talking about here?
I think it's both. They inherently know, as savvy startup founders, that if they can truly define the business as a technology-first company, it's going to be worth a lot more.
If I was a viewer, I'd be looking at that offering circular and I'd be asking myself, what is the use of funds in terms of reinvesting in that tech beauty space?
There goes that term again, circular. There's a lot of terms thrown around that might be confusing, and you don't need an MBA to understand what's going on. Let's talk about the circular. It's called the offering circular, and any company raising capital under Reg A+ needs to file one with the SEC. The circular includes 2 years of audited financials, executive salaries, an explanation of risk factors the company is facing, and a use of the funds from the selling of shares in the offering. Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here today to meet Tony, to meet Hammitt, and we're gonna talk to them about purses, designs, fashion, and seeing how they're gonna go through the Reg A process.
Hi, welcome to Hammock.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
Oh, Lauren, Nikki, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm here to see Tony.
Ah, you just missed him in the hallway, but he's downstairs waiting for you. Do you want to go check it out?
Of course, yeah. Tony!
Lauren! What are you
How
doing
are
up there?
you? I came to see you in the office.
I was waiting for you at the front.
I just missed you.
Well, how about this? Come on down, we'll go for a ride. This town that started Hammitt, maybe do a little shopping.
I hope you're a good driver.
I'm not, but don't worry, it's not that far.
Okay. Golf cart, he's crazy. I've heard he's not the best driver, but we get to drive around, look at the community, and understand more about Hammitt.
Lauren, give me a hug.
Oh, it's so good to see you.
Nice to meet you in person.
You made me walk all the way down with heels on.
You know, it's the test, right? If you can pass the heel walk,
Yes.
you can become a South Bay local. I got you a golf cart.
I love it.
Check it out. This is the Ferrari of the South Bay.
Tony?
Hey, Lauren.
I am ready. I'm excited.
You ready to check out my hometown?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Right now, we're leaving our HQ in Hermosa.
Yeah.
And we're heading towards our second retail store, downtown Manhattan Beach. The South Bay is all about, like, you know, they say you live to work or you work to live.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance here. Hammock, that's what Hammock's about. We're all about the customer. We're about the craftsmanship.
Yeah.
And the third C is the community.
Beautiful.
Look at this, right? It's a little secret down here. In our community, the golf cart, it's, you know, it's like the rite of passage. It's so fun to cruise around in that bagmobile, especially when you pull up to somebody that knows the brand and they kind of look over and they're like, hi, and they're like, a big smile. And we've given people rides in it, customers, fans, families. I don't know what it is. Everybody loves to ride in a golf cart, especially on the city streets. You want to go fast?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I got. We were going 87 miles an hour. Which,
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause this thing can move 87 miles an hour.
you know what's really cool is, like, this is where our first designs were sold, and the way they were actually sold was we had these little parties with guests in people's homes, wine, cheese.
Yeah.
They would come over, they'd look at the bags, and then they would purchase them.
So how did you get Hammock to grow as
You
big
know,
as it is today?
The follow-up after the sale is what really creates that long-term bond. You know, if you take care of the customers in your community, they're gonna take care of you.
So today started off wild. I thought I was gonna go to the headquarters of Hammock, and immediately Tony grabbed me, pulled me in a golf cart that said Hammock on it. He was driving crazy, but we drove around the community. We got to understand why Hammock is Hammock and how it started here.
Are you ready to see the store?
Yes.
All righty, it's right there. And we are pulling in.
Hello, Hammock. I'm so excited.
Hope you brought your checkbook.
I did.
Who has a checkbook? Come on, you don't have a checkbook.
No, I do.
You have a checkbook?
I do.
You balance it?
I do.
You do not.
I'm a finance person. I do.
Checkbook?
Yes.
Who takes checks?
No one.
No one. Let's do it. Okay, so this is where it all happens.
Oh my goodness,
Hammock?
the magic.
What do you think?
I love it. And
You
I
at the
didn't
door?
walk in yet. Yes.
I'm so excited to show her the retail store. I think when people get to walk into our experience, they get to see Hammock from the inside. It's like being inside of one of our handbags, right? It's versatile and functional.
I feel calm.
Well, in every Hammock store this is our second,
Yeah.
we embrace the local community and the local vibe.
Yeah.
So this is supposed to, when you walk in, you feel like it's Manhattan Beach in the 50s. The architectural design, the color palette.
What I really love about Tony is that he's not selling you. He is speaking authenticity, the way that he speaks about the brand, the way that he speaks about the detail, the way that he even talks about the different stores and his customers, and that just speaks volumes in the type of brand that this company is.
This is the Becker.
Yes.
And our design team named this after a little bakery right down the street, Becker's. It's a third generation family. It's one of our favorite places to get cookies and to get treats.
Yeah.
So we gave them the little Becker because it's like a baguette. It's almost like bakery. So we called it the Becker. So we have a lot of fun.
Nice. And how has the pandemic impacted Hammock?
You know, when it started, March, April, we didn't know what was gonna happen. And by about June or July, because we stayed confident and positive, and we kept our people, we were able to jam. We pivoted to D2C, and then we really turned up our digital focus from Hammock.com. And next thing you know, by the end of the year, our digital business grew almost 80%. Our business grew overall.
Wow.
We hired more people. And that's when we started focusing on a second store. And it's small, but it's mighty.
I already feel like a kid in a candy store, and I have so many questions. I mean, there are definitely bags that are speaking to me.
Morgan is way better at this. Do you mind if she helps you?
Of course.
Hey,
Hi,
Morgan.
Lauren. How are you?
I'm good. I'm loving this bag.
Do we have any other colors in the VIP?
The most colors.
Why don't you tell her about it? I'm just gonna walk over here.
So this one is a embossed leather to look like snakeskin, and we call it apricot tan snake.
It seems like a bag that would last a very long time.
Someone came in yesterday, asked about her bag that was 20 years old.
Yeah.
She messed up one of the rivets on it. She wanted to know how much it cost, who to take it to. I said, nope, we have a lifetime promise. You can fix it.
The store was incredible. It was inviting, it was welcoming, and I felt included. I felt like a customer that belonged. I felt like my grandma could be a customer that belonged. So I was really happy to be in a community and find a new family. They sold me on the aesthetics, they sold me on their customer service, but we really need to get down to business, really talk Reg A, really talk financials, and really pull back the layers. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
So exciting to be in person with everybody. This is awesome. What a treat.
Coming into the dinner, we have really never met in person. It's really crazy. But then it really felt like I knew everybody for a long time, like meeting with a friend you haven't seen for a while.
Just so you guys know, you're gonna have a 7-course Alzada tasting menu. All right.
I think I picked the most expensive one plus. This from the finance person. All right.
You deserve it. There's so many things along this journey that has been daunting. At the end of the day, right, you just have to say, you're smart, you have a team that's smart, go for it, and then figure it out later. So as everyone knows, we have been in the process of doing our Regulation A crowd raise, which is super exciting. We have an opportunity to allow the community that builds Proven to enjoy the value that they built. So it's really very empowering, and it really makes us feel good about how we're growing this company. At Proven, we have already raised more than $9 million, but the value that Proven is building is all thanks to our community of customers. I want to give the value that they've been building back to them.
This is actually the second company that we founded together. And then probably the fourth or fifth crazy ideas that we have come up together.
I remember the day that we decided to go after Proven, and she was still working at her Stanford lab, and she was like, I don't think my lab is gonna win a Nobel Prize. So let's start this company because there's no point to stay there anymore.
So Amy has high standards. So we can take away from this.
What really excites me about the process of building Proven is, leading my team, is going after the next goal, continuing to grow our customer base. So I think the fundraising part for me is almost like just something that we have to do so that I can then go back to, building this business, which I love.
In the startup world, it is heavily male dominated. To see two women really build something meaningful and differentiated in the marketplace that hits on such a core important trend was really inspiring to me.
I think the world 10, 15 years from now is going to be personalized, almost everything relating to health. We're all different, we all have different challenges, we all struggle with reviews to try to work out if things are the right fit for us. And to me, it's far more fun being part of the solution than just being another player doing generic things.
All of you could be anywhere in the world, and yet you choose to work with Proven. And for that, we feel so privileged to have you on this team and to be all together in this mission of bringing data and technology and personalization to first skincare and then eventually all of wellness. In our founding journey, we are frequently reminded of how rare we are as two female founders, two mom founders. Even now, in 2021, almost 2022, there have only been 31 female founders that have taken their companies public. We would love to continue to blaze that trail so the little girls that come after us, their journey can be much easier.
To my co-founder, Ming, thank you so much for the wonderful journey in the past 4 years. A lot of things we've gone through together. Gone through the most difficult time in my life with you. And then thank you so much for the support and the future we're gonna build together. Ming is a crazy woman. She's fearless, she's courageous. She is the face and voice of the company. Each one of us have a unique contribution to the company, but then all the leaps that we have taken all were initialized by her.
I feel a strong responsibility to make sure that the Reg A fundraise goes well because there's so much riding on it. And it's all of our efforts and careers, but it's even more than that. It's the people who are putting in their hard-earned money into this company. So we really owe it to them to make this as amazing and as industry-changing of a company that it actually deserves to be. So thank you for being, with Amy and myself on this journey. We appreciate every one of you. Thanks,
Ming.
Cheers.
Next time on Going Public, we're uncovering 2 additional companies raising money with public Reg A offerings. Treble Music is bringing an alternative to streaming subscriptions,
It's all of the best music in the world free for the consumer.
while NGT Academy is equipping students with the military-grade IT education.
We've trained thousands of engineers. We know it can be done in months versus years, and without that student loan debt.
And we'll take a look at the good,
You absolutely killed it yesterday.
the bad,
You can't do this with $1 million.
and the sometimes uncomfortable side of being a startup.
This was the place I lived 16, 18 hours a day. This couch was a lifesaver, more than once.
And later, all 4 companies start their fundraising journey
You're actually pitching me hard, dude.
and get a taste of what being a public company is all about.